Hey everybody, happy Friday again. Just wanted to say we did a great job this week, and I was really proud of our practice and how we participated this week in the Operation Christmas Child mission. We so far have collected 45 boxes, and it's Friday morning, so hopefully we'll get a few more rolling in, and if not, I'm still really proud of what we did. We'll finish packing those boxes, and then Charlie's going to take them to the shipping drop-off location on Monday. So technically, Monday morning, 8 a.m. is the absolute deadline to bring in your boxes if you have any remaining, or if you just get a little second wind this weekend and wanted to do another, or wanted to jump in and participate. Monday morning, absolute deadline for those because they'll be shipped at that time. So thanks to Charlie for helping to coordinate those and get them into those sweet little hands. I can't wait to see the reactions of the kids. So hopefully we'll get to catch a video of this year's box opening, and I'll share that on our Facebook and Slack pages. Also this week we had an exciting week. We welcomed some new people to the LVCC family, and I'll start with the cutest little bunches. Both Becca and Katie had their babies this week, so I'm sure you'll be able to catch up with them and see those sweet little faces and congratulate them individually. We also welcomed some new team members, Tyler, who joined the resort team and started working, as well as Adriana, who is joining our team and starting next week. So be sure to meet them in person and welcome them to our team. I'm tongue-tied today. This week we also started eating our Green Heart meals, and we've had some great reviews. So share your experiences, and maybe start to write down on the fridge what your favorite meals are, so we make sure that we keep those in stock. And make sure that if you are taking them out of the freezer, that you do take that label to the front desk so that we can take them out of inventory. We'll start deducting those from your payroll next week. Speaking of payroll and next week, I just wanted to remind everybody, in last week's video I told you about the change that we have because of the holiday coming up next week. As a reminder, our pay period is going to close on Tuesday evening. We'll process payroll on Wednesday, which will be a day early, so that you'll get paid on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. For the pay period that follows that, we'll include that Wednesday, so that next pay period will technically be a 15-day pay period. And we'll make it all right with how overtime and holiday pay and such like that will work, okay? So if you have any questions, come see myself or Beryl, and we'll make sure that that's all taken care of. So this week we actually had, we made a serious mistake that I wanted to talk about. I know our updates are mostly upbeat, and I want to keep them that way, but we have to learn from our mistakes so that we don't repeat them, and so that we're better and stronger as a team for them. So this is what happened this week that was a little bit disappointing, that I would like to not see happen again. We actually had a pet come in for x-rays, and we, in taking the x-rays, had included gloved hands actually in the image. That's not good. And we ended up sending those x-rays out, which is also not good. I understand that those things can sometimes happen as a mistake when we get hands in x-ray images, but it's really unsafe. I want to clarify that. So I want to make sure that everybody wearing gloves when they're performing x-rays, and then also that we're choosing quality images to send out. When we send out x-rays for second opinions from regular veterinarians, or especially in this case, we sent those x-rays back because we were the second opinion. We sent them back to their regular veterinarian, and that's not good. So we have to be really, really cautious about those. We have a few governing bodies that we have to answer to. So besides it being unsafe, it's also unprofessional, and it's below our AAHA standard. So for all those reasons, we have to be really, really cautious and very professional about what we do. Mistakes like that can't slip through the cracks, and it does damage our reputation, and it distracts from the quality that I know that we treated that patient with and for. So let's make sure that we're very cautious and we don't make that kind of mistake again in the future. Also, I wanted to do like a little case reminder because I know that this happens as we've started promoting extra availability and our complete availability. We have started to attract new clients, and they're a little bit different than the clients that we've been caring for. I think that's honest and fair to say. We treat everybody the same, but we do have to be very, very clear about how we communicate with people who aren't used to the way that our practice works from a client's perspective. So this is the situation that we faced. We had a pet who the owner was concerned about, was very, very ill, and through conversation on the phone with them, or whether the owner came up with this on their own, we were suspecting that this pet had parvo. It was a young dog. So I feel like we didn't really set our whole team up for success in the way that we put this on the schedule, because the owner from the initiation of the phone call from moment one said she didn't have any money. She couldn't afford our care. Yet we still kept her on the schedule and coming in. I'm not sure that that's the right thing for the pet. If somebody only has this very small amount of resources to dedicate to something, we have to make the decision in our judgment there if it's the right thing for the pet to end up on our schedule and coming in. Is it the right thing for the pet, and is it the right thing for the practice, would be questions that I would ask myself. So I wouldn't necessarily want to expose that pet further or expose any other patients that we have here in our hospital to parvo if we're ultimately not going to be able to do anything to care for that pet. So the the appointment was made on the schedule, and it said suspects parvo, client needs a payment plan or an estimate for anything beyond an office visit. I didn't know that that was the best way to do that, and I'm still questioning and struggling with that a little bit. So what I would recommend in those situations is to talk to those owners about care credit and scratch before they come in. I understand that care credit was discussed for these people, and we could get into the logistics of this case, but the right thing probably is not for that pet to end up on our schedule coming in. I don't mean that only from a financial standpoint. Let me be clear about that. I mean that from a well-being standpoint for that owner and that pet and our other patients that are coming in, that we should seclude those. What I'd rather see happen is if somebody's making an appointment for something like that and they suspect that it's not going to end in this owner able to agree to a thorough treatment plan and commit to care with our facility, that we're really, really cautious over the phone with them. Seek help from a manager if you're not quite sure what to do, if you're having trouble finding the right words to describe what should happen with this pet owner, or to kind of console them through their situation and give them direction. Seek some help from a veterinarian, from a manager, from an upper level team member, versus putting them on our schedule. I don't think that that was the right thing in that case, and I'd like to see us grow stronger and prevent those types of situations again in the future. Sometimes there's not always a black and white answer for every situation, so that's where I would look at our core values again to guide your judgment on those as well. Enough on that. I would like to talk about some reminders as well on how we confirm appointments. I know that this has been a little bit of a challenge this week because although we've been maintaining with the same protocol, it seems like we had a couple cases that were exceptions that maybe worried us that our protocol wasn't right here. So here's what we have. When we confirm appointments, we confirm them 14 days prior to the appointment. That's 2 weeks out. And then we confirm again 2 days prior to the appointment. And if by the 2-day mark, the client still hasn't confirmed that they're coming in for their appointment, our protocol suggests that we should move them off of the schedule into the non-assigned column. And the reason that we put them in the non-assigned column is because if that client has changed their phone number or has missed our contact with them and they still remembered their appointment and showed up, we would have some kind of record of what their pet was coming in for and who they were, and we'd be best prepared to serve them at that moment. The idea being, even if they can't see the veterinarian that they were scheduled for, they could be encouraged to drop that pet off for services, or they could be reassigned to another doctor who was maybe available closer to the time that they came in. And we would hopefully explain to that client at that moment that we weren't able to get in touch with them and ask for their understanding on what we chose to do. The only thing that I'd like to confirm that we're doing, because I think that's a solid protocol, is also to 1 day prior to their appointment. So if we've called at 2 days and we still can't get a hold of them, I'd like to call again the next day at 1 day and leave a very clear message that if we don't hear from them, since we haven't heard from them, we are going to move their appointment and essentially cancel it, and that we encourage them to call us back to reschedule. At which point we would still, instead of canceling it, move the appointment to the not assigned column. So let me say that again very, very clearly. What I'm proposing that we change our protocol to is confirming 14 days prior. Confirming again at 2 days prior. And if at 2 days prior we still have not been able to successfully confirm the appointment with the owner, we'll call again at 1 day prior. If at that point still no contact with them, move them to the not assigned column at the 1 day mark and leave a thorough message detailing that we have canceled their appointment. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't, please come and see me so I can clarify that, or we can address if you have a different opinion. I always love people's feedback on these things to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Again, if they came in as well and we're not on the schedule, offer them a drop-off, offer them to see another veterinarian that has a more convenient, or offer them to reschedule. Do what you can. It seems like we could work them in and make that happen for them at that time, so I'd hope that would be your first stop. Okay, so other reminders. We have been purchasing a lot more ink pens and leashes and in the working place. And not to be petty, but I think what's happening for these is I think we get busy in our work day, we fill our scrub pockets or our pants pockets with those, and then we end up walking off with them and taking them home. I know I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I can catch some work pens rolling around in the bottom of my purse. What I'm asking is, because these things cost money and are office expenses, I would like to encourage you to, this weekend, do a little inventory of your car, of your locker, of your home, wherever, and try and bring those things back. We're looking for LVCC leashes and pins because those things actually are expensive and add up. And now that our team's grown, we're spending more than ever on those things. And I have a feeling that they're not ending up in client hands, but they're ending up in our personal belongings. Okay, so make sure you bring those things back if you can. Upcoming changes. I'm really excited that we are doing our 24-hour care, and I know that we've had some kind of ups and downs in figuring out what's going to be consistent and what's going to work. And we've had a lot of great support from our night team and our doctors to make that happen. And one modification that they've suggested that I would like to go ahead and change us to is their weekend schedules. So our operating hours on the weekends stay the same, but we're going to schedule some team a little bit differently. And this will start on Saturday, December 2nd. So what we're going to do on those days is we're going to have 3 veterinarians scheduled on Saturdays too, just changing their shifts a little bit. We'll still have a primary doctor scheduled from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then we'll have another doctor scheduled from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And ultimately, the night doctor will come in and see appointments from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and continue care throughout the rest of the weekend. So that's again a change that we're going to make on December 2nd. Melinda's going to get Avamark fixed up to reflect that schedule and have the right team scheduled for those shifts as well. If you have any questions, be sure you see her about that. Also, starting on December 11th, we're going to change our procedure days a little bit so that Dr. Dusty will have procedures during the day on Mondays, and then he will go on after the procedures from the late afternoon until 8 o'clock to see appointments. And then on Tuesdays during the day from 8 to 5, Dr. Agnes will see will perform procedures on those days. Again, those changes will be reflected in Avamark and on our little cue cards that we attach to monitors, so you know exactly how to schedule those procedures for those doctors. And I'm excited that we're able to include that. 2 more things. Really excited to announce that Michelle Jenkins is actually going to be transitioning in the next couple of weeks into our nursing department. We know that she's been a staple and a go-to person at our resort, and I'm glad to have her joining the hospital team and bringing some of that resort expertise back to the hospital, because that's always important. And if you didn't know this, that's actually where she started, was in nursing. So I'm excited to have her back on the nursing team and having her presence in our evening shifts. So congratulations to Michelle for that. And then also, I'd like everybody to watch out in your email within the next week. We're going to be sending you some invitations to do a renewed disc profile. Sometimes when we take a disc profile, the results are specific and reflective of what's going on in our life. And I've found that some people who have been retaking the disc profiles recently have been getting some more specific results that they feel like are more reflective of who they are now and what they're doing now. So I'd like to renew our disc. We found a new profile type. It's actually a little bit shorter profile, and it's more cost effective for our company to do that. So I'd like to be redoing the way that we do our disc profiles, refreshing those, and I know that those are always fun to take. So we'll send you some instructions on how to do that, how to take the profile online and submit your results. And then hopefully in the next couple weeks after we get all those results, you'll see a new display in the break room for those. If you have questions, come and see me, give me a call. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Nurses, enjoy your sushi nights tonight and on Saturday. And if I don't see y'all, I hope everybody has a great holiday week if you're headed on vacation next week. Enjoy. Take care. Goodbye.